Alright guys, this is my full review of Xylon ROM on the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. Now I do have the GSM unlocked variant, but this also works on other models, so be sure to check the XDA thread for your device and see if you have it for your model. But let's jump right into settings. Let's go to About Phone, and this is based on Android 4.2.1, which most ROMs are now, but I figured I'd point that out. And this comes with the DAX Max kernel. And this is the 12/15/2012 build. So let's go back. If you go under the About Us, this is where you can donate to the developers, which is always good to do if you like your ROM. But let's go back. So I decided to keep it on the stock launcher for now, but my navbar, it's there, but I have it where it's the holo blue to match the the top and everything. But if I open up a app that has a black background, then you see they're there. But since my wallpaper, it's not. That's because you can have this transparent. So you can have your custom wallpaper transparent, or we can just go into solid color. So if I just went into blue, you see it's transparent. But if I wanted to show my my notification bar and stuff like that, I would choose something where the colors didn't blend in, like maybe white. But for this, I think I'm going to go black since it's easier to see. But you can see my nav bar is still there, but it's transparent, which is pretty sweet. So let's jump into settings. If we jump right into settings, not sure why that's got out of focus there. Let's jump right into user interface. Now this is where you get the AOKP CyanogenMod type tweaks. So if we go to battery color style and you go to color and alpha, that is where you can set the transparency. So you see how it's way over here for transparency. You can slide on over here for a full color, but I think that the transparent is pretty sweet looking. So, and you can also change your icon. I had the CM with percent. You see up there, it's a CyanogenMod circle bar. Maybe you can't see it. There we go. It's the CyanogenMod circle battery, but they also have the AOKP, which just has the little blocks in it. But I think that the CM looks better, so I use a CM, but it's just your personal preference. You can also have your battery bar, which I have on top of the navigation bar. I have it the center, because if you have regular, then it goes over there and then all the way across, and it just kind of looks weird. So I use a centered, and you can put it on top of your navigation bar, or on top of the status bar, or on the bottom. You can have your center clock or your right clock, AM, PM, day of the week, stuff like that from CyanogenMod. You can also have it to where if you pull it on your notification, you can click on the clock and it takes you to a custom application. I have it to where it takes me to my alarms because it's a clock. And so I don't have to go through the clock app and stuff like that. I can just automatically go and change my alarm for schools and stuff. And then you can change your text style and stuff like that. So under navigation bar, kind of like AOKP, we can have 7 of the buttons down here. You see I have 5. I have recent apps, notifications, home, back, and menu. If you activate menu on your notification bar, I recommend going to menu location and don't show, because by default it's on the right, but it kind of makes everything a little bit smaller. I'm not sure why it's not taking effect now, but alright, let's just keep going. You can select anything for your notification down there in the bottom. Let's go through these. We have home, bag, recent, search, screenshot, the usual AOKP stuff, and also you can have your custom apps. Also, you still have your custom navigation ring. See, I have Falcon for Twitter, and I have it where it goes to the camera. You can change those right here. Navigation ring targets. And then you can also change the number. You can have up to 5. You see, I have 3. So we also have our configure the widgets. So if I long press on these, I have it's kind of loading down there, and it doesn't let me click it, so they're still trying to iron out the widgets. But I also have my Pandora widget, but widgets aren't working for me. So if they work for you, they're pretty awesome to have. but unfortunately they don't work for me. So, but it's okay because I have it on my home screen. So now we can also go to quick toggles. Now this is where I found something really neat. You can choose holo dark or holo light. So when you pull down your notifications, they're white, which is actually pretty cool because this is the first ROM I've seen to have that. Now I use dark though because it blends in with the rest. So, and if you're wondering why I can pull it down on the right, it's the quick pull down. This allows you to swipe down from the right and get your notifications, and if you swipe down from the left, you get your notifications on the left and you get your quick toggles on the right, which I think is one of the handiest features ever because it's kind of like the Nexus 7 was when it has that option. We can also go up here to the enabled toggles, which you have a whole list. I believe these are from the AOKP team. Of course, don't try LTE on the GSM Galaxy Nexus because you're not going to get it. Don't be of those people that complain to developers about hardware issues. And then you can change your order and toggle per row. Sorry, that's a tongue twister. And one thing I noted was the notification button. It works pulling it down, but not for going back up. So I can use this to pull it down, but it won't go back up with that same button. So that may be an issue with the notification, button, but just figured I would point that out there. And in the power menu, which you press and hold on the power button, we have the power off, reboot, we have the normal stuff. But you can also choose which ones you want. So if you want screenshot, expanded desktop, airplane toggle, and your navigation, this is the navigation control. So if you go to expanded desktop and disable your notification bar, you're going to need this so you can use back, and so you can use home and stuff like that. That's good for when you're watching or playing a game and you want to expand your desktop to the full screen. I use that all the time for games actually, and it's a really neat feature. This is where you can change your carrier label. You can show the menu, little 3 dots right there, and all the apps. You can show your notification count. You can choose your background, which is actually what I did. So if I show you, this is my notification background. Let me clear out my apps so you can see it. I have my awesome Apple logo right there. And I set it to where it was a little bit transparent. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's a little bit transparent. So if I put that all the way up, wait for the system UI to restart, you see now you can see the picture fully. But if I also take it all the way down and hit OK, wait for it to restart, you see now the notification bar is completely transparent. Well, it was. No, the background is, sorry, not the actual. But I think that's a pretty neat feature. So I set it about right there, so that way you can still see your wallpaper, but you can also see through your wallpaper. Of course, you gotta let it set, of course, but let's go back. The lock screen is where I have really fallen in love with this ROM. The lock screen is one of the best features. It's carried over from AOKP, where you can allow all the widgets and unlimited widgets, which I use. But one thing I didn't notice in AOKP was the slider shortcuts. So if we lock our phone, and I have it to where it's like a 5-second, like where it doesn't lock. So I'm just gonna kind of let it sit for a few seconds. Now if we unlock it, you see we have our custom shortcuts where I can go to camera, Pandora. I don't know why I put camera right there when you can still just swipe over to camera, but I'm that guy that does. And I also have my XDA widget, another XDA widget, YouTube, got my Gmail, got my Google Plus, Pandora, and another clock widget just to throw it on there. And it also rotates. So you give it a second to, configure itself. You can see the transparency of the notification bar and the status bar too. But now it gives you that Nexus 7, Nexus 10 kind of carousel in your lock screen. So if you always use your phone in landscape, I recommend using this option because it looks pretty cool actually. And then you can just go into add another widget. Say you wanted to add a Google search widget, and you can have it on your lock screen, and then you just tap that and it goes directly into it, and all your toggles and everything still works. So it's pretty sweet. You can choose any shortcuts that you want, and also the theme chooser works. Now I only have like 3 themes installed, like the holidays and Skycore, because for some reason Google is messing up on their Play Store and saying that I didn't buy the themes that I did. So, and if we go under sound, we can have the expanded volume panel. This is one thing I like over AOKP. In AOKP, you can have it as expandable, but you can't have it as expanded. So if we go to expandable, and like the one in AOKP, if you hit settings, it expands it. But one thing I like about CM is that it's expanded already. So you can change like whichever ones that you want without having to hit the settings button. Which is, I mean, it's kind of like a small thing, but if you're someone like me that likes to adjust their volumes because you have to, you know, for school and stuff, that comes in handy, like when you're trying to play a game in class. So let's go back, and if we go under display, it has the CyanogenMod rotation feature where you can rotate the phone, you know, 360 degrees. Oops, almost threw my phone right there. So if you want to use your phone in landscape, or if you just want to show off to your friends with an iPhone or something like that, you can use your phone completely upside down. And it still works fine because the Nexus, of course, has the on-screen buttons. And then you have your volume rocker wake under display settings too. So under here, I don't mess with this stuff, but if you do, you know, I just wanted to show you guys that it's here. We have our color settings, we have our vibrator settings and clock speed settings for the GPU. I'm just gonna leave that alone because I don't really mess with that stuff because I don't want to screw up my phone. But that's basically it for settings. Now if we go under our apps, this comes with performance control, which I've seen this on AOKP, so I'm assuming that's where they ported it. I have it at 1600 megahertz or 1.6 gigahertz. I have the current minimum at 172, and it's at interactive. So even if I set it at 1600, it's only up there if I'm doing something that's graphically intensive. Like say I'm playing a game on my phone like Ski Safari, then it will bump up to that 1.6 gigahertz. But if I'm just scrolling through the menu or I'm just on Twitter, it'll stay around probably 1 gigahertz. So that's one thing to know. You see how it stayed at 1 gigahertz when I backed out of there as well. So let's go back. Now I know this isn't an issue with this ROM, but I still wanted to point it out there. If you go to the camera and if you rotate it, like, it's kind of jolty, and it just takes a minute, like the first time you rotate your camera. Now I know it's probably just a small thing, but I figured I would note it for you guys. Now last thing before I also, you know, I quit the video, I figured I would show you guys the wallpapers because they put in a lot of effort to them. Now they also give credit to the wallpapers in the apps, you know, as they say who it's by. Now this is their Christmas wallpaper. There's Xylon. In case you haven't noticed, the name of the ROM is Xylon. And you see they just have different options, like the white honeycomb type effect, which is pretty sweet. I like that one, but it consumes your battery because it's white. So I try to stick with a black background on the Super AMOLED displays because it helps save the battery a little bit. And you can notice how many wallpapers there are. And that is it. But I just wanted to go through those so that you guys would be able to see, you know, their wallpapers, which are pretty sweet. But let me show you guys the boot animation, and I will let you guys go. But one reason I wanted to show you guys the boot animation is for those that don't watch my install videos because you know what you're doing, but you still want to see if it comes with a stock boot animation or it comes with a custom boot animation. So I'll tell you, it comes with a black and white version of the stock Jelly Bean boot animation. So that's actually like a kind of whitish on this part and grayish over there, and of course the rest is black. But that's actually how it looks in real life. Like that's not my camera being horrible colors. That's actually how it looks, and it boots up pretty fast. I just felt the vibration, so it's turning on. So sorry for this video being really long, guys, but I figured I would cover everything in the ROM, you know, help you guys out. And that action launcher is a custom launcher, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. I don't do app reviews on this channel, but if you want me to, just leave a comment below of an app or something that you want me to check out, and I may look into it. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel.